My phone buzzed right as I was stepping into the conference room to present a quarterly report that could land me a regional director position, and the caller ID said, "Mom." That should have been my first red flag, but I answered, like an idiot. "Hi, sweetie, how would you feel about handing over your house?" That was her opener. "No, hello, no, how are you? No, sorry for kicking you out at 19 because your startup idea didn't sound stable enough. Just straight to the ask. Like I was a vending machine for real estate. Oh, by the way, my name's Danny. I'm 32. I own a surprisingly successful logistics tech firm that operates under a name boring enough to keep relatives uninterested. You wouldn't know it from the way my family treats me, but I could buy my hometown 3 times over and still have change for overpriced coffee." Back to the call. "What house?" I asked, playing dumb, even though I knew exactly what house she meant. "My Lakeview retreat, the one with the cedar deck I personally sanded and stained, the one I escape to when my family gets too loud in my head, the one I bought. With my money, alone." Mom sniffed. "The one you never even used that much. You always said you wanted to give back one day." She actually said that. Give back. Like I was an off-brand superhero and they were Gotham. And then came the kicker. "It's for your brother. His girlfriend's pregnant. They need a place to stay." My brother, Chad. The same Chad who once tried to fake my identity to rent a car and totaled it within 24 hours. The same Chad who dropped out of his 4th MLM to explore crypto spiritually. The same Chad who once, I swear to God, asked me if Wi-Fi could be put in a jar. She wanted me to give him my house. But here's the thing. None of them know who I really am. Not anymore. They still think I'm broke, barely scraping by on some app thing. I never corrected them. Let them think I'm the family loser. It's safer that way. But now they're poking the bear. And I'm done playing poor. Because if they want to see what I've really been up to since they laughed me out of the family barbecue for bringing a pitch deck instead of potato salad, well, they're about to find out. And it won't be gentle. You know that moment right before someone flips the Monopoly board? Yeah, that. Stay tuned. You won't believe what they try next. I didn't sleep that night, not because I was stressed. Please, I've pitched to VCs with trust funds bigger than small countries. But because I was furious. There's a specific kind of rage that comes from realizing your family doesn't just misunderstand you, they refuse to understand you. Around 3 a.m., I got a text from Chad. "Hey bro, Mom said you might help out. That house would really change our lives." Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You'd think I was loaning him a lawnmower, not a fully furnished waterfront property with fiber internet and heated floors. Oh. And let's not forget, he called me bro. This man hasn't addressed me directly in 6 years, unless it was to ask if I still had that Costco membership. I didn't respond. I did, however, pour a generous glass of bourbon and pull up Zillow, just to remind myself exactly how much my spare house was worth. It's not something you gift to a man who once asked if taxes were optional if you never vote. The next day I called Mom back, because I was feeling petty, and when I feel petty, I get surgical. "Mom," I said, all sweetness. "Just to be clear, you're asking me to hand over my second home, the one I paid for entirely, because Chad forgot how condoms work?" She didn't like that. "Don't be crass, Daniel. It's about family, about stepping up. You know how hard things have been for him?" "Yeah, real hard. Like that time he got fired from the smoothie bar for not showing up 3 weeks in a row." Hard is when you're couch surfing and building a startup on a borrowed laptop, while your friend's parents eye you like you're about to steal their silverware. Chad's version of hard is running out of vape juice. I told her no. Again, firmly, and then she said it. "Well, if you won't help him, maybe it's time we talk about what you owe us." Us? I felt something deep in my brain short circuit, like she had just pulled the emergency brake on logic and sent us careening into absurdity. "What I owe you?" I asked, keeping my tone level only because my assistant was sitting 5 feet away with a Starbucks in each hand and fear in her eyes. "Yes, we raised you. Fed you, paid for your school clothes. You didn't get where you are alone." Interesting, considering they've literally never asked what I do for a living, or how I afford a Tesla, a penthouse, and the house they suddenly care so much about. They've just assumed I was some tech weirdo with a caffeine addiction and no furniture. But now, I owed them. I laughed, like really laughed. The kind of laugh that starts deep in your chest and comes out sounding like it's been aged in contempt. "Mom," I said, "if you wanted me to be part of the family, you should have thought about that before you told people I was probably gay and wasting his potential coding porn sites." Dead silence. I didn't make that up, by the way. Aunt Carol told me, at Easter, while passing me mashed potatoes. I ended the call. She hasn't called since, but Chad has, twice. And then, today, I got a knock at the office. Reception buzzed me and said someone named Trina was downstairs. Chad's girlfriend, the pregnant one. She brought muffins. You are not ready for what she said next. She brought blueberry muffins. Store-bought, in a plastic container with a clearance sticker still attached. That was her opening move. "Hey, Danny," she said, stretching out my name like we were lifelong besties and not two people whose last interaction was me pretending not to see her vape in my living room. "Can I come in? Just 5 minutes." Promise. Now, I don't know what possessed me. Morbid curiosity, maybe. The same kind that makes you Google old classmates just to confirm they peaked at prom. So, I let her in. Trina waddled in, rubbing her stomach like she was auditioning for a Lifetime movie, and looked around my office like she was casing the place. Wow, fancy. I always told Chad you were going to make something of yourself. Then she added, he thought you worked at a call center. That tracks. I sat down behind my desk, folded my hands, and gave her the same look I reserve for clients who start sentences with, so I've been watching YouTube tutorials and, why are you here, Trina? She smiled, not sheepish, not awkward, confident, like she was holding a royal flush made entirely of entitlement. I just think it's really beautiful what you've built, she began, like she was reading off a poorly written toast. You've worked so hard and come so far. And you know, Chad and I are just trying to build something too, a family. Her hand landed dramatically on her stomach. The muffin baby. We want to give our child a future, a safe space. You've got that place by the lake and it's just empty. You don't even use it, so I thought, why not give it to someone who actually needs it? My jaw didn't drop, it locked. And what, I said slowly, makes you think that I would hand over my house to the man who once traded my PlayStation for investment Dogecoin? She blinked. Well, she said, because you're doing so well, and Chad really needs this chance to prove himself. I mean, how else is he supposed to grow up if no one gives him a start? You mean besides his 31 years of practice? She rolled her eyes like I was the unreasonable one here. I'm just saying, she continued, you have 2 homes, and we're about to have none. Doesn't that seem a little selfish? I mean, technically, we're family now. Technically, fungus is life. Doesn't mean I'm making it a beneficiary. I stood up, politely, firmly. No, the answer is no, not maybe. Not let's talk, not someday. It's mine. I earned it. You and Chad can find your own way. She stood, huffing. I thought you'd be different. You always acted like you were better than everyone. No, Trina. You all just treated me like garbage and I stopped pretending that was normal. She left, muffin still on the desk. 30 minutes later, Chad texted me. Nice. You made my pregnant fiancé cry. Real classy, man. And still, none of them know the real reason I keep that lake house locked tight with cameras, upgraded locks, and motion sensors. Because what they don't know is what's inside it. And if they ever find out, let's just say the muffins would be the least of their problems. I knew the muffins were bait, but I didn't expect an ambush to follow that quickly. Exactly 2 days later, Mom invited me to brunch. Her treat, which in family terms translates to, you're about to be emotionally blackmailed over syrup. I went. Why? Because I enjoy performance art. And my mother, God bless her, has the dramatic timing of a soap opera villain who's been secretly alive this whole time. We met at this overhyped bistro that thinks eggs taste better if they cost $23 and are described with words like locally curated, sunshine-fed chicken aspirations. She was already there when I arrived. Red nails, perfect hair, purse clutched like it contained state secrets. She stood up to hug me, which was my second red flag after the hollandaise on the menu. Oh, sweetheart, she cooed. You look thin. Are you eating enough? Translation. You look successful and it's making me nervous. We sat, small talk, passive-aggressive jabs disguised as concern. Then came the main course. Her voice lowered. She leaned in and said, Chad and Trina are moving in with me. I nodded. Makes sense. They're unemployed and out of options. You two deserve each other. She pursed her lips. That's uncalled for. They're doing their best, but my condo's too small, and you know how stressful pregnancy can be. That's why I was thinking, if not the lake house, maybe your main place has some room. I actually laughed, out loud, like full-body, table-shaking laughter. The waiter looked alarmed. Wait, you're asking me to let Chad and Trina move into my apartment? The one with the custom floors and the $1,000 espresso machine? The one with the imported Japanese toilet that plays ocean sounds when it flushes? She gave me the smile she uses when she wants me to forget that she once told my 4th grade teacher I probably had ADHD because I couldn't sit still like other boys, just until they get on their feet. You have so much, Danny. You don't even bring dates home. It's such a waste. Ah, there it is. The good old maybe you're secretly broken approach. No, I said flatly. Absolutely not. She sipped her mimosa with all the grace of a person about to make things worse. Sweetheart, she said, I just feel like you're holding on to something. Ever since you moved out, you've been so closed off. What's really going on with that house anyway? And there it was. The shift. The fishing expedition. She leaned forward, eyes too sharp to be casual, like she knew something. Because here's the thing. The lake house isn't just a retreat. It's not just my weekend getaway. It's where I built the prototype. The one thing that took my company from a struggling logistics platform to the back-end system now used by half the supply chains in the Midwest. The servers, the backups, the original patent docs, they're all there, hidden, encrypted, protected, and if Chad ever got his sticky little video game stained fingers near it, let's just say my loser status would be the least of his concerns. So, yeah, I've got something to hide. And Mom just got a little too close to it, and that means it's time to play my game now. And the next move? Let's just say Chad won't see it coming. You ever watch someone dig their own grave while blaming the shovel? That's what it felt like when Chad showed up at my office 2 days later, unannounced, sweaty, and wearing what I can only describe as his I have a plan hoodie. It's the same one he wore when he pitched me his idea for Uber, but for jet skis. Yo, he said, plopping down in the guest chair like he hadn't just barged into a multi-million-dollar operation with pizza grease on his jeans. We need to talk. I leaned back slowly, resisting the urge to have him escorted out with a complimentary stress ball and a pamphlet about boundaries. I'm busy, Chad. No, bro, this is important, he insisted, pulling out a folded piece of paper from his pocket. Not even a folder. A pocket, crumpled like a flyer for a failed garage band. He dropped it on my desk. I unfolded it. It was a business proposal, typed in Comic Sans. Apparently, Chad and Trina want to start a family-focused content house. You know, like those influencer families that film diaper reviews and birth vlogs and monetize trauma for clicks. His idea? Use the lake house as their HQ. You don't even have to do anything, man, he said, grinning like a man who once tried to pawn my watch because he thought it was a Rolexy-looking thing. Just let us live there, film a bit, get some sponsors, and boom, passive income for everyone. We'll even cut you in. 10% of my own house. I stared at him. Words failed. My brain, usually a finely tuned machine of logistics and market forecasting, just blue-screened. And, he added, as if this were the cherry on the delusion sundae, I've already made a promo trailer. Want to see? He whipped out his phone and pressed play before I could scream absolutely not or throw it out the window. The video was chaos. Trina talking to the camera with one hand on her bump and the other holding a Starbucks. Chad yelling at a drone to get the sick overhead shot. A random chicken running through the yard. No, seriously, a chicken. It's got vibes, right? Chad asked, clearly proud of the mess. We're gonna call it Hatchlings and Hustles. Cool, right? I shut his phone off and slid it back across the desk. Chad, I said calmly. Too calmly. If you set 1 foot on my lake property without my explicit, written, legally notarized permission, I will not only have you arrested for trespassing, I will personally ensure every potential sponsor you ever talk to sees that video. His smile faltered. You don't mean that. We're family, man. Exactly, I said. And if anyone knows how lazy, reckless, and liability-prone you are, it's me. He stood up fast. Defensive. You've changed, man. Money's made you cold. No, I said, rising to meet him eye to eye. Being exploited by people who once laughed when I failed, that made me cold. Money just let me stop pretending to enjoy it. He stormed out. Good, because while he was busy filming chickens and pitching content ideas that made my soul ache, I was already 5 steps ahead. I called my lawyer. I'm adding a clause to my property deed. Effective immediately, anyone caught filming, broadcasting, or monetizing anything on my land without permission will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And guess who just uploaded a teaser video to YouTube titled, Big Things Coming Our New Life Begins, with the lake house in the background. Oh, Chad, you really shouldn't have tagged the location, because now it's war. The video had 412 views. That's it, just 412. And yet, it felt like a full-blown declaration of war. There it was, my lake house, front and center, panned by a drone with all the shakiness of a toddler on roller skates. Chad's voice narrated the whole thing like it was a luxury real estate ad, using words like generational legacy and peaceful homestead for our new journey, as if he didn't nearly burn down Mom's shed last year, trying to deep fry a turkey indoors. The kicker? At the end of that video, Trina appears on the porch, my porch, and says, "We're so excited to start this chapter of our life here. Huge thanks to Danny for making our dream come true." Excuse me? I didn't even know they'd filmed this, which meant only one thing. They'd already been on the property. Somehow, without keys, without permission, without even the decency to not tag the damn GPS location, they trespassed. I called my security firm immediately. Asked for the motion logs and cam footage for the past 2 weeks. They emailed me a file. I opened it, and there they were. Trina with a ring of keys, unlocking the back door like she owned the place. Chad holding a selfie stick and what looked like a prop baby blanket, talking to camera like he was hosting HGTV for idiots. They filmed inside, sat on my couch, opened my fridge. Trina took a bubble bath. I nearly snapped the mouse in half. 10 minutes later, I was on the phone with my lawyer again. You said you wanted to escalate if they crossed the line, he said. Well, this is it. Unauthorized access, violation of privacy, filming for commercial gain. You've got a case. No, I said, calm in that terrifying slow-boil way I get when I've moved past anger and into something far more productive. I don't just want a case, I want consequences. He chuckled, already drafting a cease and desist. We'll follow it up with a formal notice of trespass, demand for takedown, and a restraining order if they push back. I hung up and forwarded the footage to Chad's email with the subject line, "Hope the ad revenue was worth it." But just as I was getting ready to shut it down hard, I got another email, this one from my cousin Julia. Subject: You're not going to believe this crap. Julia's my second cousin, sharp as hell, black sheep, our kindred spirit. We bonded at family funerals over spiked coffee and mutual disdain for everyone in our bloodline who pronounces Wi-Fi like it's a foreign delicacy. She attached a screenshot, a Facebook post, Trina, again. This time in a mommy group, asking for followers to help pressure the property owner, her fiancé's brother, into doing the right thing and gifting the home to a deserving family. She posted a photo of the living room, my living room. There were comments. One of them said, "I know that house. My brother did plumbing work on it. Isn't that owned by some tech guy?" Another, "Looks like a legal mess waiting to happen. She shouldn't be filming in there." Julia had replied, "You're right, and she's about to find out just how big a mess." I stared at the screen. Trina had turned this into a public campaign. She wanted sympathy clout. Oh, sweet summer child. You're out here asking strangers to fight your battles? Well now, the battle's coming to you. And I don't fight fair. I waited exactly 36 hours. Long enough for Trina's pity parade to pick up speed, but not long enough for her to realize the entire street was headed off a cliff. That's when I sent the letter. Not an email, not a DM. A proper, physical, signed by a law firm with a matching Instagram and a gold logo on the envelope letter. Cease and desist. Chad and Trina were officially ordered to take down all photos, videos, and mentions of my property from every single platform within 48 hours. Or face a lawsuit that would make their baby registry look like a clearance bin. And just to twist the knife, we delivered a second letter to Mom, because guess whose name she added to the emergency contact list on the HOA application last year without my permission? Yeah. That gave her just enough pseudo-access to loan the spare keys to Chad behind my back. I had the form. I had the timestamp. I had her "Thanks again, sweetheart" voicemail from the day she borrowed the keys for a friend from out of town. That friend, Trina, when I confronted her, she didn't even blink. "You're overreacting," she said. "I thought you said family was supposed to help each other. You threw out my college acceptance letter and told Grandma I was wasting my time with computers." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't be dramatic. That was years ago." Exactly. Years of being the scapegoat, the silent ATM, "we thought you were on drugs, but turns out you were just introverted disappointment." I'm done. You see, there's something none of them realized. I wasn't just some bitter tech nerd with a backup generator and a privacy obsession. I was prepared. I anticipated this kind of stunt years ago, so I set a trap. On day 2, right after the legal letters landed, I posted something innocent-looking on LinkedIn. Exciting week ahead. Property review underway for new silent partnership. Big updates soon. That was it. No details, no tags, just bait. And it worked. Trina posted an update a few hours later. "We've decided to partner with a few local businesses to help us transition into our new family space full-time. We're just so thankful Danny saw the value in what we're building." Excuse me? You think you're going to fake my endorsement to your 900 followers and pretend we're collaborating? You absolute morons. That night, I had a new security team sent to the lake house. They changed every lock, reinforced every door, and installed remote access shutters that can close the entire house down like a Bond villain's lair at the push of a button. But the real gift? I left one camera active, facing the porch, because something told me Chad wasn't smart enough to stay gone for long. And right on schedule, 2 nights later, there he was, trying the back door, again. Only this time, he brought bolt cutters. Smile for the camera, bro, because tomorrow morning, that footage goes straight to the sheriff's office and the internet. And just like that, the golden child is about to have a criminal record. The arrest happened at 10:17 a.m. Right between my second espresso and a quarterly review, where I calmly told my board we doubled our user base while simultaneously orchestrating the social and legal demolition of a man who once tried to return a blender after using it for 6 months. My phone buzzed. Sheriff's office. Chad had been picked up for attempted unlawful entry, destruction of property, and violating a civil order. Trina wasn't with him this time. Turns out even she draws the line at felony accessory. But that wasn't the fun part. The fun part was the voicemail from my mother an hour later. Shrill, shaky, teetering between rage and disbelief, like someone who just found out their favorite child committed a crime on camera and the loser son she always dismissed had planned for this exact scenario 2 years ago. "You set him up!" she screeched. "You baited your own brother into a trap." Correct. And I did it with Wi-Fi, a Ring camera, and a latte in hand. "Do you have any idea what this is doing to our family name?" "Oh yes, mother. That name you spent years dragging through PTA meetings like a purse full of expired coupons. That name you tarnished every time you told people I worked with apps or some nonsense. Now it's trending on TikTok under the tag hash #LakeHouseFail. Because yes, someone leaked the footage. Not me, obviously. No, that was Julia. Sweet, brilliant Julia. She posted a 15-second clip with the caption, "When your cousin's baby daddy tries to break into your tech mogul brother's lake house again and gets arrested by 3 cops and 1 raccoon. The raccoon was just a bonus. Totally unrelated. But it added flavor." The video exploded. Commenters took sides. Team Danny, Team Entitled Nephew. One woman offered to marry me based on how smooth my security camera audio was. Another asked if the raccoon was single. Meanwhile, Chad sat in a holding cell trying to explain to an officer that he was technically family and basically a co-owner by proximity. Trina? She doubled down. Went on Facebook Live crying into a baby blanket, telling her followers that Danny was trying to ruin their lives out of jealousy, and that some men just can't stand seeing strong women thrive. Comments weren't kind. Especially once someone dug up her old GoFundMe for spa recovery after a minor fall, and realized it matched the date of that Vegas girls' trip she never posted pictures from. Mom, radio silence. Until today, when she showed up at my building, in person, hair perfect, pearls on, the look of doom engaged. Security called up and asked if I wanted to meet her or have her removed. I told them to let her in. Let's finish this. She walked into my office like she still had leverage, like the past 2 weeks hadn't been a complete demolition of every narrative she'd ever built, around me being the family disgrace. "Danny," she said, "we need to talk." I looked up slowly. "About which part? The break-in, the smear campaign, or the part where you tried to sell my house with your church friend's real estate license?" Her face twitched. So she didn't think I knew about that last part. "I did it for Chad," she said. "For the baby, for family." "No," I said, standing up. "You did it because you've spent 30 years believing I was worth less than your favorite screw-up. And now that I'm the one holding the keys, you don't know how to cope with the idea that the loser won." She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again, but there was nothing left to say. I walked around the desk, picked up a small sealed envelope, pressed it into her hand. "What is this?" she asked. "A gift," I said. "My final one." She opened it. Inside, a check to pay off her mortgage. She gasped. "But why?" "Because unlike you," I said, "I know when to close a chapter. The house is yours. But after today, we're done." She stood frozen, mouth open, eyes wide. "And as for Chad," I added, walking back to my desk, "tell him congratulations." "Congratulations?" I smiled cold. "On being disowned." She stumbled back, stunned, because the final part wasn't about revenge. It was about freedom. "And tomorrow, you'll see exactly what I did with mine." I thought walking away would feel like defeat, like I was giving them something, like they won. But instead, it felt like I'd set down a backpack full of bricks I never agreed to carry. The check cleared. Mom's house is paid off. Chad's record is real, public, and blessedly permanent. Trina deleted her Content House accounts after Julia replied to every post with, "But whose house, sweetie?" The lake house, still mine. Sealed, upgraded, peaceful. But the real win? Silence. No calls, no guilt trips. No demands masked as family duty. Just peace. For the first time in my life, they needed me. And I didn't bend. And the world didn't end. I'm not angry anymore. Just done. And I've never been freer.